Welcome to the Hotter Than Health podcast, a plant-dominant podcast for those looking to expand and elevate their lives. Each week, we will bring you provocative conversations and topics, entertaining interviews, and some of the biggest names in health and wellness to answer your burning questions. You will leave each episode with tangible tips and takeaways and understand what it truly means to live an energized and optimized life. Welcome back to this week's episode of Hotter Than Health. My name is Eliza Gelman, and I'm so happy to have you here. This is part 2 of the Yurko episode. It's called A Phenomenon for a Reason, and if you didn't check out last week's episode, this episode is still going to be phenomenal, but highly recommend not living that chaotic of a life and listening to part 1 before you get into part 2. This has been such a special 2-part sequence because the Yurkos have been such a pillar in the health and wellness community in Charleston and globally at this point, internationally at this point. But they have also been really dear friends. They have such sage wisdom. They move as though they have lived so many lives, and they're approachable, but they hold themselves with deep reverence, and they truly are practitioners of the lifestyle that they preach. This episode, we get more into the Psychedelic Journeys. We get more into their Mezcal company, which is T.O. Mezcal. Such a cool experience. We sipped on some Mezcal. We talked about David's experience within that business. We talked about working together as partners. We dove deep into and expanded on the topics that we spoke about last week: relationships, love, sex, Tantra. We talked about specific health and wellness practices that they incorporate into their day-to-day lives. Overall, it's a conversation between 3 friends. It feels like you're in the living room with them chit-chatting, because we were in the living room with them chit-chatting. And then at the end, of course, we did a little Mezcal tasting. And y'all know I'm not a huge drinker, but it didn't feel like we were consuming alcohol for the consumption of alcohol. It did seem more like what was it? It seemed more like a ritual. It seemed like there was so much respect around the process of making it, the ingredients, the appreciation of the land. And when you are drinking alcohol, I think that by putting yourself into the situation putting yourself in the mindset of how can we use this in a ritualistic way, not in some seance way, but in a way that was respectful of the process and didn't lend itself to just going to get fucked up, going to get it out and get after it at a bar. It was a cool experience. I think you'll appreciate that as we go. If you haven't already, make sure you have subscribed to the podcast. You can head over to Apple Podcasts. It is the little purple app on your phone, or you can click Spotify. Just hit follow. If you're on Apple Podcasts, leave a review. It is the best way for people to start finding the podcast who are searching for health and wellness. That's just a little bit of housekeeping, but without further ado, let's bring to you part 2 of the Yurkos. What do you think the Psychedelic Journeys, can I call them that? Psychedelic Journeys?
Whatever you want.
The Journeys?
Journeys, yeah.
They're Journeys now, guys. What do you think those have done for your relationship? Other than completely bring you together.
Yeah, I mean, 10x.
Can you
everything.
give an example, like some examples?
I mean, it's just you're dropping into a space where your soul is wide open and your heart is speaking rather than, the ego. The ego's gone. And you're really speaking from the heart and the soul. And I mean, we've created it where we are separate and then we come together and experience that space together. And it's just so profound, so beautiful. I mean, that's where our Mezcal business came to be. That's how
oh, that's right. So you had a journey, and did you see a Mezcal plant?
I was in my space and I was like, David came in to check on me. He's like, what's going on? What are you seeing? I'm like, I'm seeing farmland in Mexico. And we were going to Mexico 3 different times. His birthday's on August 5th. Happy early B-Day, Leo season. And so this was August 5th of last year, almost a year ago. Oh my gosh. And we were going to Mexico 3 times until the end of the year. And I'm like, we got to find farmland there. that's what I'm feeling. That's what's going on. And then he goes back in his space, and
I started speaking Spanish, and I started talking about, hey, Gonzalo, ¿qué onda? ¿Está allá in Oaxaca? And Gonzalo Santiago is a friend, father figure, this unique character in my life. He was the foreman when I was flipping houses in DC for the last 15 years. He was my main foreman. And so him and I worked together very closely. He retired back to his hometown in Oaxaca, I think in 2019, just before COVID hit, and hadn't talked to him in like a year and a half, 2 years. And so again, part of these experiences, you transcribe the next few days, you resonate, with the experience. And so I called Gonzalo as part of him coming through and said, hey, we'd like to come down and see you. First of all, like, we just love authentic experiences, and I'd never been to Oaxaca, neither of us. And also, we're interested in like some organic farming. Like, that's what Courtney saw, like, or getting land to like do something in organic farming. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, come on down. I've got land. I'm growing corn and tomatoes, and I'll show you around. Just come down here. Like, we'll talk about it. And also, this is the top, like, one of the top mezcal producers. Our town, San Baltzar Chichicapam, is one of the top mezcal producers, and I'll introduce you to some of the mezcaleros. At this point, I had pretty much been sober for about 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, on my journey of self-reflection,
and I'm like, mezcal's my favorite spirit. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I knew that she liked mezcal, so I was like, cool, like, all right, let's see where this goes. And that prompted the trip down there in October.
Well, there's so many ways I could take that. But you created did you realize in that one trip we're going to start a mezcal brand?
No.
Company?
No.
It all kind of
that really
came like, because we were going to go to San Miguel Allende, and then it pivoted to Oaxaca, and then we split and went to our respective bachelor and bachelorette parties. I don't like those terms.
We call them solderos.
Yeah, solderos and solderas. And so we're going down there, and we go to this first agave, or this first Palenque, which is a distillery, and just seeing the agave fields, we're like, oh my gosh. And we just came off of this 21-day intensive, well, this was actually day 19, because you can't go to Mexico and not eat a taco, let's be real. Intensive detox
oh, that's
cleanse.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So no alcohol, no corn, no gluten, obviously no sugar, no processed foods, no nuts, no eggs, no meat, literally no nothing.
Water and vegetables.
Water and vegetables, mostly vegetables, and then half of what you consume of vegetables can be fruit. So very, very intense. And we get there, and literally they have like 16 different mezcals for us to try. We hadn't eaten all day, and then we're having tacos, trying all this mezcal, and they're like, you guys can buy some, like, we're like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, amazing. And so by the end of it, he took some to all of his crew. I took some to my crew, and our first two were Espadín and Tobola out of all of them that we tried. And those are our first two that we started producing. And so then fast forward to us getting married. We were in Tulum in Mexico, obviously. And we took a pit stop there and met one of our friends, Corey Paul Martin, call him CPM, who's now one of our partners. And we're there.
I have a crush on him. Yeah.
He's the best. So we were there spending time with him, and we're like, let's take this somewhere. Also, we're meeting at the end of the year with all of our friends in Tulum as our like celebration reception, because we got married just the two of us on Nevis. And so Dave and I agree, hey, let's get this thing going, and let's have it as like at the party, let's have it at the party with all of our friends.
Which, by the way, Courtney has skipped 75,000 things that happened in between these two moments of, there was production. There was the fact that you guys got this up off the ground in the time that you have is absolutely mind-boggling. And the way you're so grounded when I'm just here with you now, I'm like, don't you have 45 things to do today?
There's always something.
Of course. But the way you handle all these things, you're saying it in such a graceful way. But just know, you guys, there were hoops, boundaries, barriers, tasks, obstacles, things that you had to go through to get this off the ground. But Tio Mezcal.
So, and we're
it's alive
still
and well.
in that process. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll be selling in Mexico. We're finally to that stage, which is beautiful, which means we can start the hardcore process of getting it into the States, et cetera. But yeah, Gonzalo and Evelyn, his wife, they drove, I don't even know, like 40 bottles all the way from Oaxaca to Tulum. That's over 24 hours of driving. And so we had it as like our launch party at our reception. And we're like, okay, this is actually something we think we could sell in 2 months. Oh, no. We're now in almost to August and it's still a process, but we've learned so much. It's been so awesome. We get to work on this together. It's Tio Mezcal, which together also means other things too.
You all, you had some funny stories about how the name came to be. But can we talk about alcohol in the sense of this is a health and wellness and nutrition podcast? Alcohol is something that you mentioned. You were like, it's been stigmatized. It's been shat on for the past several years. People are like, you do not need it. You do not need it. But you talk about it in a more ritualistic sense. What are your views on booze?
Totally. I mean, everything in moderation, right? And like, what is the quality of it? We're all used to in our 20s and teens just drinking absolute garbage alcohol, right? And that is what makes you feel like garbage the next day, quite frankly. Like, is it organic? What else did they put in it to speed up the distillation process? Like Mezcal all of ours is 100% organic. We're working on that verbiage to be able to actually legally use it, but we can say it's organic because we know it is. You know, we have wild agaves that we use, which is more than organic, right? Our mezcaleros go out into the desert and chop down these agaves and bring them back. That's as organic as it can get. And just how it's produced, you know, it's cooked in the earth and there's no additives in it whatsoever. Tequila they put sugar and a lot of garbage in it, right? And some tequilas, yeah. So, but also just think about like vodka. It's all grain. Does that grain, it's probably been sprayed with pesticides, right?
Yeah.
It's corn. Corn is not great in America or many places for that matter. It's all about quality for us and intention, right? And with the Mezcal, it's so grounding that you're not going to shoot it because Mother Nature is going to make sure you don't shoot it because it's going to be very intense and warm and strong on the way down. So it's all about sipping. Obviously, you can make cocktails with it, but I'm
literally breaking my fast with that this morning. Yes, with Mezcal.
Us too.
Yeah,
it's the best way to do it. Why not? It's a Saturday.
Oh my God, it is a Saturday. Wow.
Why not? Cheers. So it's just very important to us to spread awareness and educate people on the process of how this is made and being just very intentional about what you're consuming. You know, are you consuming grass-fed steak and wild-caught salmon, but you're drinking garbage alcohol?
You're drinking Mad Dog.
Yeah, like just think about how things are produced. And, you know, we like to use it in a more, you know, it's not about abusing it, right? Like we've all been in our 20s and just been raging and partying.
20s,
30s. Yeah, whatever it is. Charleston here, it's into your later years in life as well.
Can we talk about that?
This is a very heavy drinking town.
It is a drinking town.
I want to add something to that.
Yes.
So for me, like I said, I didn't drink alcohol for 2 years.
You can expand on that if you'd like. I'd like you to.
Yeah. So I found myself at 33 after breaking my collarbone in a mountain biking accident and being laid up on my couch, not being able to move for the first time after like a 12-year run of being really healthy, doing a lot of extreme sports, and reflecting on why I was doing all these extreme sports. And I realized that there was a need to release built up energy and stress that, as I thought more about it and got to meditate on it more, were rooted in traumas or samskaras, life experiences that I'd accumulated. So I took a break from everything to just kind of cold turkey the mind-altering substances in my life that weren't a lot, but alcohol, coffee, just to kind of try to get still. And fast forward to my decision to reintroduce alcohol into my life, because I was able to use the other tools, the meditation, the journaling, the breath work, the medicine work. I was able to use these tools to clear the traumas that were operating in the background that I believe were actually motivating me to overconsume the alcohol in the first place. Mm-hmm. So why is the individual choosing to alter their consciousness? Are they doing it to escape something that they don't want, that is uncomfortable, that they're sitting with? Or are they looking to enhance the consciousness that they're sitting in? And so I could see that at an earlier point in my life, I was using it to escape. Now I use it to enhance.
Yeah.
So
you use it to open up
to
blocks
open.
and open up. Okay, let my mind be as open as possible to these things. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, just like, to me, coffee's the best example, right? Coffee is a great compound for improving your focus, helping you become alert. And if you use it intentionally in that way, then you can use it as a benefit to your life. But if you are drinking 8 cups of coffee a day, then it's probably going to create some negative side effects that you don't want.
It becomes the same thing as porn. You're watching, honestly.
Yeah.
It's all that dopamine hit.
It's the quick, fast,
Yeah.
instant gratification.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So everything that Courtney said about becoming aware of the quality of the alcohol that we're consuming and the way that we're consuming it, realizing that the Aztecs were using the original forms of mezcal in ceremonial uses. So, here I was working with different medicines, different compounds in a ceremonial setting that was very helpful and beneficial to me. These same compounds in a ceremonial setting, people are using in recreational settings and having a good time, but coming out with different experiences.
Yeah, yeah.
So for me, it's not the compound. I like to say all compounds are benign. All mind-altering compounds are benign. They don't have an intent to take you anywhere. But the individual who's consuming it, that is the question. Where are they at? Where's their intention behind the consumption of that product?
Yeah.
And they're powerful. So if you don't have an intention, and if you're looking to escape, then they will have a more heavy impact on you.
And that really is something that people talk about a lot. They're like, oh, well, I feel terrible after I drink, or I know I should do less, or I really want to get clear. There was a period of, I think, 4, maybe 5 months last year where I didn't drink at all because I knew I had to make a big decision. And I was like, what's one way I can get extra clear? And I was like, I don't need to do this again. And since then, my relationship with alcohol has been one of pleasure and intermittent experiences. And if I want it to be an experience, I want to learn about it, I want to feel it. We were in Italy and it was long, it was part of life. Right. And I wasn't going to not do that, but I haven't been hungover or drunk since then because it's not the same. I'm like, I don't need it to change up here. I just need it to be an addition to what I'm already doing, what I'm already enjoying. And David, you have come a long way in understanding, like you've lived a big life, but over the past several years, it's been the breath work and the meditation. And you have been doing breath work for 2 hours a day, upwards of 2 hours a day, which is, to me, commendable. Not something I'm looking forward to doing anytime soon. But, 15 minutes this morning, absolutely perfect. We all start somewhere. But you got extremely clear. And I think that the lessons and what you have just been speaking about, you wouldn't never have been able to do had you not been able to get so clear that you were observing the past, because you can't observe it while you're in it. But that's I think what you're getting to. You're getting to a point where you can observe while you're in it. Let's fast forward to right now. You all have Connection Health Center. You have the Yurko Method. You have a lot going on. In a nutshell, elevator pitch your life. I should have probably done this in the beginning, but not really. Elevator pitch your life. What's going on? If someone were to say, hey, we'd love to have a conversation. What are you two about? What are you two about?
I'm about being the highest version of myself for my wife, for me, and for our future children.
Hell yeah.
And everything else stems from that. Everything else is a footnote to that mission.
Oh my God. I cannot
know.
wait for you guys to have children. No pressure. I just think it's going to be amazing. Court.
And for me, what's beautiful about that is up to this point in my life, I realized I had been trying to accumulate, achieve, and create based on a mix of motivations that were coming from deep within. And when I had this opportunity over the last few years with these different tools to still my mind, I could reflect on where these programs were put in. And oftentimes they were inherited from my ancestors. They were reinforced by the society that I was surrounded by, the media that I was exposed to. And so I was looking to make money or to do activities just, again, with not the intention that I'm able to do it today.
Yeah.
So the beauty is that what do I want? I want to be able to live my life free, to wake up with my wife every day and do exactly what we want to do. And then when we are blessed to have children come into this space, we can continue that energy. So whether it's Tio Mezcal, whether it's doing our breath work together for me, or whether I'm trying to clear some scars from my past, or whatever it is, it's always working towards that goal.
You have the top of the mountain, what that looks like, everything else just supports.
Exactly.
Quick pivot. I think David should pour some Mezcal while Courtney goes through your morning routine.
Let's do it.
Amazing.
Okay. All right. We have Tio Mezcal in front of us. We're going to do a quick tasting while we're on the podcast. Also, I want to quickly say this is what we did this morning, and then they're going to talk about what they do for their morning routine. I got here at 9 a.m. It's now almost 1, and we're going to wrap it up, I promise.
No, this has been amazing. Good, yeah, we're good.
But I got here at 9. David made me mud water, which, please sponsor. I'll reach back out. But mud water with a bit of ghee. There was coconut oil. There was, what else was in it?
Stevia.
Just a bit of stevia. And it was so delicious. I feel like I have had 3 Adderall today, but I have had 0 coffee, which is abnormal for me. We did 15-minute, the Yurko Method breath work. We did a cold plunge, all 3 of us. And then we sat in the sauna. What else did we do? Oh my God, we did the fucking nail boards. The nail boards.
The needles. The nail boards.
Not the needles.
Gravity Mind.
What is it called?
As well. Gravity Mind boards.
Gravity Mind boards.
Yep.
Truly, I get
experience.
it. I get it, but I almost can't explain it. You're standing on these boards that are not much bigger than the size of your foot, but they have these small nails that rise up and you stand on. And the goal is to create alignment and breath. What is the goal?
Yeah, so they've been used in yogic practice for over 2,000 years, and it's all, I'm sure you've heard of meridians in Chinese medicine, and what we talked about earlier was the nadis. So you have 70,000 nadis throughout your system, and 3 main ones, Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna, and it's all about activating all those. I'm sure you've heard of an acupressure mat where you lay on it. So this is the actual,
this is like the R-rated version of that.
Yeah, this is like, they actually also have a mat with the nails too.
Why do I feel like that would be easier?
Probably more surface area that's on it.
Well, more surface area, but also all of your weight is coming
on
into
your feet.
One.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it helps with activating, the meridians, your chi, your prana, your nadis, whatever the verbiage is that you want. But it also helps, reduce tension within your body, even though it feels like a whole lot of tension on your feet, but it also helps bring you into proper alignment. So when I was teaching at yoga teacher training last week, we brought the nail boards, and I was like, okay, you guys remember that proper alignment we were talking about in the first weekend when I was going over anatomy? Now we're going to bring it full circle. If you don't have proper alignment, if your vertebrae aren't stacking properly over top of each other, if your sella turcica isn't above your heart center, isn't above your pelvic girdle.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, exactly. Then you're going to really feel it where you shouldn't.
Typically, I live a pretty active lifestyle, but there are some days of the month where, despite my best efforts, I'm sitting for 8 or 9 hours of the day, whether it is in a conference or in a seminar or whatever it is behind a computer, I'm sitting. And during those days, I know that if I'm not going to move my body the way that as often as I want to, I know that I like to fast. I like to have my fast broken around 10 in the morning. It feels better to me. It feels like it keeps my digestion clear and it keeps my mind clear. The way I do fasting is I don't mind adding a little bit of calorie in the morning so that it can extend my blood sugar not crashing. That is the way I like to do my fast. And something that I like to do is after my workout, I'll have a cup of coffee. And in that coffee, I will still do some type of either protein or fat or combination of the two. I'll do a teeny tiny bit of ghee, clarified butter, and then I'll add half of a scoop, maybe 3/4 of a scoop of collagen protein. And the collagen protein that I've been using has 10 grams of protein per scoop, and it is collagen from Organifi. You know, I love this brand. This type of collagen is so wonderful because it just blends right in. It's super, super easy, and the ingredients are simple. There's collagen fish peptides from bone broth peptides. There is eggshell membrane collagen and hydrolyzed bovine, which essentially is coming from cow, egg, fish, chicken, and all of these are organic. They are also glyphosate residue free. If you're incorporating some type of collagen or any type of supplement into your lifestyle, you want to ensure that the ingredients are quality. There are so many supplements out there that don't have any type of third-party testing. They're not doing their due diligence when it comes to ingredient sourcing. I trust Organifi, and this is the brand that I use daily. This is going to give your body the best tools to replenish, build, and reward your body with nice skin, stronger nails, better texture in your hair, even those little ridges on your fingernails if you have those. Providing your body with some more building blocks is a great way to start supporting yourself from the inside out. Highly recommend the collagen from the Organifi line. You can try this product or any of the products that I love at Organifi.com/HTH. That will get you 20% off. Again, try any of these products. You know I love them all. The green juice, the collagen, the protein, the magnesium. That is Organifi.com/HTH. I know you will absolutely love it.
So it's all about just like being there, breathing, and taking in all the things that you're feeling. You're going to pass this threshold, which I quite frankly haven't gotten to yet.
I don't think I didn't get there this morning.
David's on it for like over 5 minutes, but
David stands there and he was chitting and chatting and laughing and like flailing his arms around, no big deal, and almost forgetting that he's standing on a nail board.
He's a savage with it. He's a beast.
A true beast.
Yeah, it's just another one of those biohacking tools, you know? I'm all about doing all the things, and especially ones that have been around for a long time. We need to look at the yogis. That's what we need to do. We're all doing, personally, I think we're all doing way too much like aggressiveness things, as in like too many HIIT workouts. And it's all about just slowing down. And let's look at what the yogis do. How many people do you see? I mean, weight training is amazing, but like how many people do you see that can sit in that lotus position? Old yogis, they all can sit in that lotus position. And you know, longevity and flexibility. Longevity is what we all want. Flexibility is a huge indicator of longevity.
Yes. Okay, that's great to know, because my IT bands are like, I mean, they're tight ropes.
Yeah, just sitting like this is wonderful for your system. Wonderful. So,
oh my gosh,
I know
you guys,
I went on a tangent with that. Sorry.
Well, we easily can go to tangent on anything. We wanted to touch on so many different topics today. Let's taste some mezcal. What are we tasting right now?
So, mezcal is any alcohol that's been distilled from agave. So that makes tequila a mezcal. So
it's the umbrella.
Exactly. So the saying is, all tequila is mezcal, but not all mezcal is tequila.
Got it.
So tequila is one agave. It's the blue agave. What we have here is 4 different agaves that we carry: Espadín, Cupriata, Tobala, and Quiche. And each agave grows in different parts of Mexico, different altitudes, lengths of time. They're different sizes. They have different flavor profiles. And then the other big difference between mezcal and tequila is tequila used to be cooked in the same way, but it's a very specific process where after the agave bulb is harvested, so it's if you can imagine like an aloe vera plant, but a large version of it, the spikes get cut off and it's the root, it's the bulb that
it's like the artichoke heart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they use the root in the earth, they bring that back, they cook a hot fire that's in the earth, and they throw the chopped up agaves into the earth over this hot fire, and it gets cooked for multiple days, depending on the agave, depending on the mezcalero. And it's this incredible artisanal and ancient process that produces a very unique flavor in each lot that is produced. So tequila nowadays, it used to be produced that way. It's now produced in commercial steam ovens and has a much more commercialized process after that as well. Like
so you
said.
guys are just as, I like that you're just as intent with the process as you are with the ingredients, because one does not come without the other for this product.
Every single step along the way, for something to be called mezcal and being sold, that's a lot of work, a lot of certifications, a lot of testing. It's like the person that goes out and harvests, he has to be certified. The person that is there distilling it, they have to be certified. Every step of the way has to be certified. So what you're getting is really, really it takes a lot of hard work. It's all done by hand. It's not like these big commercial tin, things that you've seen if you've gone to a distillery or a brewery, etc.
No, it's a farm.
Yeah.
It's a very artisanal product, and yeah, you're right. It matters so much to us, the ingredients, the quality. I mean, what we have here is 100% organic wild agave and mountain spring water. Those are the only two ingredients.
How crazy is that? Amazing.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's literally why, like, I'll never get a hangover drinking this mezcal. And we've had some experiences in Mexico where we're down there meeting mezcaleros and we're drinking at every palenque we go to. And
we should for sure be a lot drunker and feel like complete garbage the next day. And it's like, oh my gosh.
That's even how I felt in Italy. I never got hung. I was definitely hungover one time, but I was having other cocktails. That was a different story. Yeah. But wine all day long. It was fine. And it was label-less wine. It was wine that was probably made in someone's backyard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And so like Courtney was saying earlier, vodka, whiskey distilled from corns and grains that are monocrop, GMOs, mass produced. And so it's not just the raw material that goes into it, but for us, it's the producers, the mezcaleros. And so that's why it's so important for us. Yeah, to have a first-hand relationship with each one of our producers and really feel their love that's going into this product. Like our first mezcalero that we met, Renee, we were at a party in the small town of Chichicapam, and I'm sitting there with him, and he's showing me his phone, and he's scrolling through his phone. He's showing me all these agave pictures, and he says, like, oh, yeah, you can look through it. There's no, like, pictures of girls. It's just agaves. like that's how much I love what I do. And we see him the next day. We go to his palenque and taste his mezcals, and we went back and we were like, we need to get some sleep. There was like literally no water at this party. It was just mezcal and Corona. We go to his palenque, and he was like, oh yeah, I came here after the party because I had to open the oven and I had to go through one of the next processes. And he worked all day the next day because he loves it. And he told us how, he went to the United States to work as a laborer and find opportunity, came back and was like, I need to do this. This is what's in my heart. But he was like, everybody told me there'd be no opportunity in this.
Oh my God.
And so his life has been changed. Like, it's been beautiful. He sent us pictures a couple weeks ago. He took his family to the beach, and like, I don't know when the last time he was able to do that, or like if they had. It's just so cool, like seeing our vision being able to support these people, and it's just like, that's why it's together, TO.
So everybody gets to win. And for me, working in construction for 15 years, very closely with Gonzalo, I saw men who had to sacrifice a lot to come here, and then they would not be able to go back and visit their family. They wouldn't go back. Their children could get sick. Their parents would pass away, and they couldn't go back. And they would work very, very hard, and they would send their money back to their communities. And the first trip down, they're driving around with Gonzalo in his truck. It was just so surreal to be like, wow, like here we are in this beautiful, scenic, like imagine California 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And yet there's no opportunity. And so a big part of this this venture for us is the opportunity to send money directly back into this town so that they don't have to leave if they don't want to. And they can take this money and they can empower their community. Like, they don't even have a bank.
Create jobs,
Yeah. So there's there's so much that we can learn from the way that they still live their lives. Very familial, very close-knit. They constantly have a party. And at any time they say, as long as you walk in with a case of beer, you're welcome in that party. And so that's what's happened. Now 3-4 times we've been back there, and each time welcomed in with open arms. I mean, getting food cooked in people's houses, just having a great time with being welcomed into this community.
Yeah.
So there's so much that we can learn from the way that they operate. And we know that there's things that they can benefit from our advancements as well. It's a merging of the two that creates this really, really beautiful union.
T.O.
baby.
I love it. And now I get it.
Yeah.
But you have to hear it from your mouth, because otherwise a brand is a brand until you know the story behind it. And you all are living the brand, and that's absolutely incredible. You do everything together, and everything you do is for others, to bring others together and to health and to wellness. You're so impressive, both of y'all.
Thank you.
And such good energy.
Thank you.
Speaking of good energy, I have to pee before we shoot. Not shoot. You know what I mean.
Sip. I go for it. Each journey has a very specifically curated playlist that, is intended to facilitate a journey of emotions.
Yeah.
So there's going to be music that you feel like you're ready to conquer the world, and then there's some more spiritual. And anyway, so this one playlist I made for her was born out of my love for her, and
that was the first one we journeyed to.
That we dropped to. So CPM, we gave him a journey at some point a few months ago, and he just texted her a picture that he's listening to that playlist. Aww. Which shows us that he's in a place right now where he's looking to do some work of his own.
Tapping in, processing. Yeah,
it's a great way to, like we talked about, the journey, to be able to ground back. You're transcribing, but the music is also reinforcing those neural pathways that were created
like smells
during the experience.
And exactly. All of those things together to bring back bits. I love that.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I need to do a journey at some point.
Yeah.
We talked about this with moms and the past. I feel like I'm in a space where this would be, I don't want to say the perfect time, but I can't.
There's no perfect time for anything, but if you feel the go, it's definitely time to tap in, and
we'll talk more about that.
Open yourself up.
We'll talk more about that off air. But either way, okay. What are we doing?
Espadín.
So this is our Espadín line. This would be the most widely available mezcal. If you went into any store or bar right now, probably 95% of what's on shelves is Espadín. It produces a nice, sweet taste. It's also takes between 4 to 8 years to grow, which is short relative to some of the other ones we'll get into next.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, they say Mexico, it's meant to be sipped, not shot.
This girl is not going to be shooting anything today.
And there's another saying, a cheers, that para todo mal mezcal y para todo bien también. Which means for everything bad, some mezcal, and for everything good, also some mezcal.
I'm going to be using that frequently. Ooh, and it is buttery and sweet. Mm-hmm. And it actually has like a thick texture, or thicker texture.
You feel the heat, the warmth.
It's warm, but it doesn't burn.
Right.
Other alcohol burns as it goes down. And I'm acting like I've never had mezcal before. I have had mezcal plenty of times, typically, and it's a beverage. I've only done tastings a handful of times. Mm-hmm. This is easily the easiest mezcal I've ever. And yes, there is smoke behind it, but it's not overwhelming by any means.
For us, there are mezcals that are very alcohol heavy, and that's why it's like we've tasted 50 to 100 different mezcals from different mezcaleros, and these are the 4 that we're like, these are the ones that we want to share, because again, it's the mezcalero that creates this unique product. It's not yes, the agave is obviously a huge part of it, but to watch the different mezcaleros literally ask them, how long is it going to get cooked for? Well, I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll taste it. Mm-hmm. And if it's time to take it out,
oh my
God,
then I good will. Answer.
Everything is completely done with their feel and their experience.
Yeah, it's intuitive. Also, typically when you take a shot, even if you haven't eaten, so we haven't eaten today, but we've had like some butter, there's been some calories. if you take that first little sip, usually you can feel it go straight to your head. This is not like that. I was waiting for the head shot, but it goes down just to the heart and the body first.
Yeah, it's so grounding. Like
It's
you
so
can
grounding.
tell how it's cooked in the earth. That's why that
It is
smokiness is
Pachamama.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's straight
Literally.
up Pachamama.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, it's grounding, literally grounding for a reason, you know, and it's meant to be sipped, right? And yeah,
And I have
it's amazing.
I'm a airy person where I have a lot of what would it call a lot of vata. I still think that the doshas are incredible, and anytime I taste something grounding or I drink something grounding like ice water, I can't do a whole lot of sweet citrusy drinks because it just adds to my flightiness. But having something like this, starting the day with some butter and depth, this is my dream.
There you go.
This is my dream.
Yeah. No, we feel the same way. It's like she said, it's cooked in the earth, and we feel like that absolutely has an effect on how you experience it.
Totally.
It's cooked in the earth, infused with earth's grounding energy.
And can I tell you something? I'm super sensitive. I can tell immediately if something's off with a relationship. My gut, my stomach will start to tell me, or I'll break out, or my hair. I just know. Like I can tell by my fingernails the way that it's a whole
Energy.
That's
It's all energy.
And as I've been going through like the dating world and all these things, there's a lot of new energy coming. On a first date, you're literally processing someone's energetic field. And what I've been noticing is I look back at certain moments of my life, not just weeks or months, but moments of my life where I could feel a certain movement in my gut, where after that something not so great happened. And I'm so in tune to it now that I can tell, okay, I do want to spend time with this person. I could eat the healthiest, most perfect meal of the day. I can have pooped, I can have worked out, I can have done everything I need to do. But if I am sitting near someone and then I have a sip of anything else, have a bite of anything else, my stomach will literally flip like a Labrador. It will flip. I can feel it immediately. I'm like, we're not driving.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
without the words, without the anything, or I could see if you two were in a weird space, I would be like, my stomach hurts. It's a weird feeling, but I remember it happened a couple hours before my intense car accident happened in college. I remember it happened when I first met a couple certain relationships that I had in the past. I was like, God, my indigestion. So I'd eat healthier and healthier and rawer, and it would get worse and worse and worse. Same with you and the red meat. You can sense the neck, the pain, all these different things. But with this, I was waiting for it because I was like, normally I'm pretty sensitive if I hadn't eaten food, and I'm not a super long faster typically. That I know immediately will not disrupt anything in my system.
That's so cool.
That's amazing.
Fucking amazing. That is amazing. And it's noon. Well, it's 12:30, and I was like, I'm not drinking this weekend. I don't consider this drinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
the thing.
I don't
It's-
consider this drinking.
Yeah.
This is experiential.
We feel the exact same way.
You nailed it. And that's what the message we're trying to get out to people, you know? And yes, of course
We're
there's,
sitting with three friends having a discussion, a long form discussion about things that we love that are cool and interesting and new, and while sipping something that was made with love.
exactly. You nailed it.
Yeah, and that it's an extremely pure product. And again, it's like nothing, like you can do too much breath work, right?
Yeah.
Like I've been there before where, like you said, I was doing it multiple times a day. It got to the point where I was like, okay, like I need my breath work. Like, so anything can be over consumed.
Anything can be a vice.
Anything can. So I'm guilty of villainizing alcohol. Alcohol is bad. Like I
Same.
can't do that anymore. But as we've talked about, there are so many factors that go into your relationship with it that, yeah, like she said, we're trying to create a new space for alcohol where, yeah, you wouldn't combine breath work and spirituality with alcohol consumption. Typically that space today is like, oh, I'm better than that. Like, no, I've moved on from alcohol, but it's one of the original medicines.
Yeah.
And that's why I also really wanted to have an interview with you too, because it would have been easy. I've had one with just Courtney. So if you want to hear just Courtney talk about the nervous system and supplementation, that was an amazing episode. But I wanted to get deeper into it because everything can be layered, and we don't need to shut ourselves off to certain things. And I'm absolutely guilty of it because I know how good I can feel when I feel good. But I think that we're so used to introducing things back in such a heavy way, or introducing things back in a way that we're used to habitually.
Yeah.
This is not habit. Nothing about this is habit at all.
Yeah, it's a remarkable spirit. It really is. Just the whole process and how it makes you feel and how it doesn't make you feel the next day. Sign me up. And I've also been, as a chiropractor, having something called Connection Health Center. It's like, there's such a stigma around alcohol, and I'm like, am I being like hypocritical? And I'm like, nah, fuck that. Like we're revamping what it means to like consume alcohol and telling a different story,
Yes,
and
thinking differently.
having a new relationship with it. You can do both things. I can be a health practitioner, and I can also co-own a Mezcal company with my husband,
And I am just I think that so many people would get inspired by the way you are living your lives. And I'm not saying quit your 9 to 5. And I'm not saying if you're having issues in your relationship, leave that relationship. We talked about this earlier. We observed a friend of ours that had gone through a really rough patch in a marriage. And then they worked through that. Like, nobody wants to see, we want to see people win. We want to see those relationships be built from the ashes. It's possible. It's absolutely possible.
Totally.
And that's what you're doing, especially with the way you're thinking about alcohol. But thank you so much for both of you guys for opening up your home and your morning routine. I know that that's sacred, and
we're so glad you joined us for it.
Yeah.
I thought about it and I was like, I have to have a whole experience.
Absolutely.
I need the biohacking morning before we do this interview. And I was like, man, it's their house. I don't want to. But y'all have been, I feel like I live here. It's so comfortable.
And you've been an OG forever. Like,
we've been friends for a long time.
Yeah, and we connected over in the most beautiful way.
Yeah, we did.
Very early, like both losing our mothers at young ages. Like, that's a intense way to connect, and not many people understand that,
Yeah.
So,
and it's all a lot of that. The mothers, I feel like a lot of that's resurfacing because my niece was born 2 years ago and my sister's pregnant again. And I'm like, I would just love for my kids to be able to, they need a Carla, they need an Ann, they need a Rooney. And I'm like, well, fuck, when I have kids, I would love for them to be around, but it's not an option physically.
Right.
But having these conversations, keeping those things alive, I think they'd be so fascinated. My mom would be sitting here and she would be so excited for all of this. She would, oh my God, she would be hilarious. But thank you both so much.
Thank you
for all you are doing. And we're going to do not a giveaway, but we are going to do actually some tickets to the Connection Health Center August 29th, yoga, deep stretch, breath work.
Yeah, so we'll be starting with breathwork, which David will be guiding us through. And then one of my associates, Dr. Katali Sanchez, she'll be doing the deep stretch. And then I'll be closing with a sound bath. So we'll give away tickets to that.
How many tickets do you want to give away?
We can give away two to two lucky Charleston. Well, they don't have to be local, but it's in Charleston, downtown Charleston.
Yeah.
So we'll give away two to that for you to come check out the space that is Connection Health Center and the vibrations that are just emanating in there and kind of what we do.
And all you need to do to enter is just share this episode on your social media, tag Hotter Than Health podcast or ElizaG_wellness, and you'll be entered in to win. We'll give away 2 tickets for August 29th at Connection Health Center. It's in the middle of downtown Charleston, and it's a beautiful, beautiful space. We are going to continue to try a little bit of Mezcal. Where can everybody find you if they're looking for you on social media? So and this is like the hottest couple you've ever seen. So absolutely go do some light stalking or heavy, whichever.
Yeah, whichever. And reach out. We're here as humans and resources. And if you're a badass human and you're on our vibration, like we like to,
or if you would like to get there
with like-minded humans. So I'm at Dr. Courtney Yurko. So at Dr. Courtney Yurko. We also have at Connection Health Center at t.o.mezcal. At t.o.missions, which is our mission trip that we put together with chiropractors to go down to Oaxaca. And then obviously my sexy husband is...
I like to say you could just go to her page and find me.
They're all over each other's pages. They are one and the same. It's true.
But I'm D-Yurks.
D-Yurks, yeah.
They're tagged. They'll be tagged all over the Instagram. We have so much video content from today. I'll make a couple videos.
Amazing.
But thank you guys so much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And at the Yurko Method.
At the Yurko Method, of course. I'm sorry. All right. We'll talk to you all next week for another episode. I hope you enjoyed that episode, and I hope you follow Courtney and David on social media. follow along with their gorgeous, amazing lifestyle and make sure that you are following Hotter Than Health and ensure you are entering into the review of the week. All you have to do is head to Apple Podcast, leave a review, and I will shout out your name on the next week's episode. And if you're the winner, I will send you a Hotter Than Health tote bag, and it will likely have some free swag in it. But thank you so much for listening, and we will be back with another bomb episode next Thursday.